العوافي يا جماعة and welcome to another episode of تعال اتمشى مع براين. Quick notice, هلا أنا طالع اتمشى بعد ما رجعت من الشغل، ويبدو إنه مثل ما كنت عم بقول last time، لأنه عم بتعتم الدنيا بكير شوي، لازم نبلش نقلب، وبدال ما نطلع حلقة كل أربعة or we have an episode every Wednesday, we'll switch it this Saturday, and that way I'd be able to record this during the day, especially if I'm going for a walk, because you'd hear the environment better. ومثل ما تعودنا ببداية كل حلقة بنقول شو نكتة بايخة. هلا بس خلوني أنا كاتبهم هون للنكت البايخين شي محل. But in the meantime, the weather here in Sydney is quite nice. بلشنا نفوت بالخريف, so بلش يسقع الطقس, which for me, and I think we'll mention this as one of the episodes, I like winter more than summer, for reasons. So نبقى بنوصل لهم. So نكتة اليوم, واحد حلو تجوز وحدة حلوة, طلع ابنهم بدبق. هيدي بتلعب عواتر. هيدي اول شي ذكرتني بالطفولة, وتاني شي 9-10, يعني بياخة على almost maximum. بس حلو نقول نكتة نكتة اليوم or the joke of the day هيك لنفرفح الجو شوي قبل ما ندخل على موضوعنا, because the topic we're going to talk about today, or I'm going to talk about today, is how we can help Lebanon. And by we, I mean Lebanese living outside, Lebanese living in Lebanon, whatever form. Even if you're not Lebanese, there is a way that you can help Lebanon. And how this subject came to mind is honestly because after I recorded the last episode, I published the episode, صارت الضربة يلي هندلنا نتذكرها كتير, يلي هي وقت إسرائيل ضربت 100 موقع بلبنان بظرف 10 دقايق, يلي لهلا واصلين بحدود ال 400 قتيل or 350 بعتقد, و1000 جريح. هذا غير يلي اجوا قبلهم وغير النازحين وغير وقت صارت هيدي الحادثة أنا وعيت تاني يوم شفتها, فتحت تليفوني and I saw it, and I honestly didn't know what to do. I think for the entirety of that day I felt like I was in a dream. I was in a hazy state where ما بعرف شو بدي أقول, ما بعرف شو بدي أعمل, ما بعرف شو بدي أحس, ما بعرف. How do you react to something like this, especially as someone who is not in Lebanon? Because the thing that was bothering me the most, يلي الشيء اللي كان عم بينكز علي وعلى قلبي, هو the guilt of my privilege, the guilt of me being able to sleep in my bed, get up the next day, go to work, and just have a normal day, when the people like me, my friends, my family, the people my age that are in Lebanon don't have this privilege, because unfortunately for them, they got bombed by Israel that day, and they had to find a way to pick their life together. So that sense of guilt was eating me inside, because I felt that sense of guilt a lot of times. And one time I felt it in Lebanon when the port explosion happened. But back then, when I was there, the method I used to quiet down this sense of guilt was by going the next day down to the location of the explosion and starting to help the people that suffered that dilemma and that catastrophe. So being able to help was the solution that I found to be to help me kind of reduce this sense of guilt. Even like I wasn't there, but I'm here now and I'm here to help you. And that sense of guilt that was inside me after the events of last week is what enlightened me او اعطاني الوحي لهيدي الفكره انه انا عم بحس بهذا الشعور لانه انا ما فيني او ما عم لاقي طريقه لاقدر ساعد لبنان. طيب هاتنا نلاقي طريقه. شو هي الطرق يلي نحن يلي عايشين برات لبنان فينا نساعد لبنان فيه؟ وبالمقابل كمان مد الحديث او مد التوبيك من وقتها مش بس للي عايشين بقلب لبنان بس لكل مين, because everyone anyone can help Lebanon and can help my country go back to what it is and what it always was, and not this state that it's in يلي I think till now لسه ما قدرت ابلعتها للشي اللي عم بيصير او اللي صار بلبنان من last week لهلا. And so that's how I kind of came up with the topic of what we're going to talk about today. هو كيف نحن فينا نساعد لبنان. هلا I've kind of split this episode into two sections. And the first section of this episode is how you can help Lebanon in the physical or the material sense. And the first thing that comes to mind is obviously to donate. يلي فيه ويلي قادر يتبرع للمؤسسات اللي عم تشتغل على الأرض بلبنان. وهول these people that are dedicating their time and their effort and their day for saving and helping the people that are in Lebanon. And there are so many organizations that do this. There's national organizations, there's NGOs, and I've got a list of a couple of them. For example, في عندكم Nation Station, which provides food. في عنا بيت البركة, which also provides food. أجيالنا organization, the Red Cross. Any of these organizations or these communities in Lebanon that are helping the people that either are being bombed or are displaced and providing food and shelter for these people, if you could donate to them, then please do. And one thing that I will say, that if you are unsure of the organization that you want to donate for, then I have the simplest solution for you. Donate to the Lebanese Red Cross. The Lebanese Red Cross is a surefire way to know that your money is going to go to helping someone else or someone in need, or helping them in their task of taking care and providing for the Lebanese people now. So if you can, please donate. And if you don't know where to donate to, or you're not sure, Lebanese Red Cross is always the right way to go. في كاريتاس كمان وفي الهلال الأحمر. There's lots of organizations, but do be diligent when you're doing your research into the organization you're donating to. And if you're not sure, Lebanese Red Cross, always. My brother used to be in the Lebanese Red Cross. A lot of my friends were, and I was very close to the organization when I was in Lebanon, and I know these are beautiful people, beautiful young men and women who are dedicating their time and their effort to take care of the people that are in Lebanon. So whatever you can spare for them, I think would go a very long way. Something else that you can do other than donation is speaking up. It's about time that we stop being quiet or silent about what's going on, as if this is something normal and this is something that's supposed to happen. And there's no one today that doesn't have a social media account or a Facebook page or whatever it is, Instagram, social media, Twitter, X, ila akhirih. Speak up. Do you think what this or what this thing or this situation that's in Lebanon, do you think this is normal? If you don't, then speak up. Talk about this. Make people aware of what's going on. And another way that you can speak up is not through social media, but if you're an expat living in a foreign country and you vote for an elected official, then you can contact that elected official. You can send them forms, you can send them letters urging them to stand up in their parliament sessions and talk about this and to fight for this and to say that this is something that's wrong. انا اخر الشيء اللي لازم يصير انه نحن we normalize this and we get to the point that we're used to the fact that we're constantly bombed by Israel or whoever other force, or we're constantly oppressed by another force that's there. نحن هذا منه شيء طبيعي ونحن اذا منضلنا ساكتين بيصير طبيعي. So you need to speak up about this. You need to make people aware of the catastrophe that's happening in Lebanon. And if you don't, then it's not my place to say, but you should, as a Lebanese person, you should be speaking about these atrocities that are happening, these war crimes that are happening. They're flattening residential buildings with innocent people inside, and yet there's ways to justify this? Fuck no. This is not justifiable. And we need to speak up about this, because if we don't, who will? Who's going to speak up on behalf of the Lebanese people? Who's going to speak up on behalf of our people who are suffering every day? If it's not us, no one will. So we need to, be it on social media, be it when you're in communities that are discussing this topic, be it to your elected official, whether you're in Australia, New Zealand, America, I don't care, anywhere in the world. There is an elected official that got to their position because you voted for him. So you have the right to to send them letters, to send them emails, to call them and ask them to stand up and to say that this is wrong and that this is not the norm and that what is happening in Lebanon should be stopped, because regardless of whichever side you want to stand in this conversation, the important thing is that there are civilians that are being killed. There are men, women, and children that are going as collateral damage. And I personally cannot stand by and let this happen. And I don't think any of you should. We need to speak up about this. You can also help by, there's a lot of people that are organizing fundraisers or walks or runs, where if you participate, the fees that are participated are sent to a certain organization in Lebanon. If you find organizations like this and you find fundraisers like this, help them, join them, because trust me, it's not for their sake, it's for your own. The sense of fulfillment that you get knowing that you are doing something to help your country is irreplaceable. And it is the highest form of honor, humanity, anything. You need to do this, because trust me, the feeling you will get knowing that you're actually helping make a difference will change your perception on everything. So if you find these fundraisers, help them, join in. Even if you can't participate, help in organizing. Anything you do in this instance would also help the people of Lebanon. And one of the last things that I can tell you to do, and this is also something that will help Lebanon in turn via like kind of a domino effect. If you find local Lebanese businesses that you could help, do it, because it's not direct, it's indirect, sorry, but you might be helping, you might go into a manouche place, a Lebanese manouche place, and you buy a manouche, and that, the price that you paid for that manouche would go into the same box of cash that that owner is saving up, that he's gonna send to his relatives in Lebanon who need help, who need food, or who need finances. So you could be part of that as well, indirectly helping the people in Lebanon, but also you're helping the Lebanese people here, which is also something good, because you're helping Lebanese businesses. You're helping these people that are carrying our country's name in their business. You're helping them, and you're helping the image of what it is. And I understand everyone that's living outside, sometimes you're unable to donate in terms of money or in terms of something financial, and that's completely understandable. ما حدا ظرفه مثل التاني. أنا ما عم بطلب منكم تجي تروحوا وتحطوا مصاري، بس there are millions of ways that you can help Lebanon in a material sense that don't involve financials and don't involve money. And so I urge you all to 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 find these opportunities and to take advantage of them, because the winner at the end is you. The winner at the end is Lebanon. And who doesn't want to see Lebanon flourish? Who doesn't want to see Lebanon in peace? Who doesn't want to see Lebanon back to its glory days? I don't think anyone does. Doesn't, sorry. And this is me talking from a sense of someone that's living outside and more directed towards an expat. But if you are someone in Lebanon, then please انزل على الأرض man. انزلوا. أنا كنت أنطر لحتى يكون في opportunity إن نقدر ننزل نساعد عالم, because there's nothing more Lebanese than jumping down and helping the people that are down there, and helping them because they're Lebanese, they're your fellow countrymen. And that sense of fulfillment you won't be able to fill in any other way. So I recommend that if you are someone that's down there, that you go and you try to help the people that's there. And this kind of closes off the first section of the episode today, where we're talking about the material or the financial or the physical help that you can donate, you can provide to Lebanon. But the second point I want to talk about, which is way more important, is kind of the long-term game. How you can help Lebanon in the long-term game. And I think the best way you can do that is by being the best Lebanese person that you can be. By showing the best Lebanese image that you know. Showing how we as Lebanese people are kind, how we as Lebanese people are trailblazers, how we're overachievers, how we're educated, how we're cultured, how we're kind of enriched in all of this history that we have. And I think that's the best thing, or one of the best things you can do, is to show people who don't know what Lebanese people are, how Lebanese people are in reality, and showing them the image. Because I feel one of the things that is very sad is that the image that people from outside of Lebanon have of Lebanon is very different to what we actually are. And it's almost like we're not seen on the same level. And that bothers me, to be honest. That's something that kind of eats away from me, because we as a people never do this. Or proper Lebanese people, we don't do this. We don't look down on someone. We don't treat someone differently. We acknowledge that all human beings are all human beings. I might be wrong, I might be right. I'm talking from my point of view. I would never do this, and I know all of the people that are in my life that are dear to me would never do this. And therefore this is a Lebanese trait for me. Not not treating someone with degradation, not looking down on someone. And the way we can fix this and the way we can tackle this issue is by constantly being the best Lebanese version of ourselves that we could be. By showing them who we truly are and what we truly are and why our civilization has lasted this long and why our roots are seeped in history and how we as a people have been here for a long time and we will be here for an even longer time إذا الله راد. So نحن هيدا الشيء اللي فينا نعمله، نحن فينا نغير الصورة اللي بيشوفوها العالم عن اللبنانية. أنا اللي بدي العالم تطلع علي وتقول إنه إيه هيدا لبناني. لك مان، نحن قدوة، نحن قدوة للعالم، مش بس بأخلاقنا، بكرامتنا، بشرفنا، بمحبتنا، بعلمنا، بثقافتنا، بتاريخنا. قدوة. And the worst thing you can do is to forget these traits that we have. And the best thing you can do is to embody those traits in the best way possible. And I know هلا في عالم عم تسمع عم بتقول ايه انه حكي هذا وانه ما بيوصل لمحل. لا، منو مزبوط هذا الحكي. Because I was as skeptical as you were, or you are right now. I was like, what's the point? انه ان عملت ولا ما عملت ما حيأثر. Until there was a couple of instances that happened with me that changed this idea that was in my head. And the first was at work. Now I will keep all names unanimous and all people unanimous because the point of knowing who these people are is not, it's not the point to know who they are. The point is the story that comes behind it. And so one day I was at my office at work, and I had a colleague, an older colleague of mine, maybe 60 plus, and he doesn't know anything about Lebanon. He knows that there's a lot of them here in Australia. He knows that a lot of them are disrespectful. And so he already has a very bad image of Lebanese people in his head. Because مثل ما بيقولوا, it takes, like, you could do a million good things and one bad thing, and that bad thing will always stick out. النقطة السوداء حتضلها تبين على الشرشف الأبيض. رغم كل الأشياء المعقول كل اللبنانيين يكونوا عاملينهم منيح، إذا بيجي واحد وبيخبص وشافوا هذا الإنسان automatically هو حيفكر وحتعلق براسه التخبيصة ومش الشيء المنيح اللي عمله. بقى هذا الإنسان كنت قاعد أنا وياه بالشغل مرة, and I was discussing with a couple of friends of mine about some of our traditions, and we were talking about wedding traditions وكيف نحن بتجي الزفة والعروس من مال والعريس من مال والسحرة هون والليلية هون, وعم بقول لهم كل هالأخبار هيك. And I won't say the comment that was said, but there was a derogatory comment that came from this person, and it cut me, it hurt me, and so I responded with a similar cut and walked off. Now the person that said what they said realized that they said something out of line, and so they came back later and apologized, and I apologized as well for whatever I said, because I shouldn't have said it the way I did. And we got to a point where I was sitting at my desk and I'm thinking, what I did there was wrong. Two wrongs don't make a right. So him saying something like this or acting this way does not justify my reason for doing it, and therefore I shouldn't do it. And so I thought to myself, I was like, what other method, how can I sway this person? How can I change this person? And so I was thinking, I think the best way I can change this person is by showing them how truly we are as Lebanese people. So he doesn't have these derogatory and deranged ideas in his head about what Lebanese people are. I didn't care if it would work or not. I did it for myself because that's how I wanted to portray Lebanese people, whether it changes his opinion or not. This was maybe a year and a half ago. It was almost midway through the war that's currently still raging in the Middle East and in Palestine and in Lebanon. And so I started being kind to him the way we are. If I have food, I'd always share. We joke around, we talk stories. I, I have, I sat down with him and had so many beautiful and profound conversations about history, about culture, about technology, about whatever it is. But I just decided that what I want to do is to treat this person and be the ideal or the perfect image that I see a Lebanese person should be with him. And like I said, I didn't care if it actually made a change or not. For me, it was something that I was doing for myself. I wanted to do this because that's how I feel that Lebanese people should be. And after almost a year or a year and a half of me deciding to change and to start treating him and everyone else, obviously in my office, in a different manner, not being aggressive when it comes to topics like these, because I had to look back and be like, maybe they don't know. Maybe they've never seen what Lebanese people truly are, and therefore they have this backwards image of us. So my job is to correct it. So like I said, after almost a year of this, I was at my desk, and that same person came up to me and tapped me on my shoulder. He's like, Brian, guess what? And I go, what? He's like, so I bought a new book. I was like, yeah. And he goes like, this book is called The Prisoners of Geography. And I was like, yep, I know that book. And for those of you who don't know that book, The Prisoners of Geography is a very famous international book about all of the kind of geographical conflicts that have happened around the world. And a big chapter in that book is the conflict of the Middle East that has been going on for ages now. And so he goes like, yeah, so I got this book and I read the book. And I go, yeah. And he goes, and I go, yeah, what do you think? And he goes like, it's not right. I go, what's not right? And he goes, that it's not right that a Frenchman and a Britishman should decide how to split up this land. I was shocked. I was like, you're right. Yes, exactly. They have no right to do this. And he's like, and it's not right for them to keep doing what they're doing to Lebanon and to Palestine and to all those countries that want to flourish, and they're not letting them do that. And I was taken back even more. I was like, wait, what? Where is this coming from? How come you're saying this to me? I know, like, what was it, the book? Was it this? Was it that? Like, obviously I wasn't saying this to him, sorry. There were questions in my head, and I'm going like, but did it actually work? Did me portraying the best image of Lebanese people actually encourage him to go buy that book and read that section and understand what's going on, so that he can come back and be like, I get it. You're not what I thought you were. And I was dumbfounded. I didn't know what to say. I was like, that's great. I told him that's great. If you want, I could recommend more books about this topic. And I left, and I was like, holy shit, it worked. like me doing what I had to do worked. And there was another instance as well where he was telling me about, and this was a more recent one, which was uh, after Israel started their invasion on Lebanon. And um, he comes up to me and he says, um, ever since that he read that book and we had that conversation, he would every day come by and ask me how my family in Lebanon was doing and how everyone was doing there, and how he thought it was so sad that no, like any guy my age that's trying to build something in Lebanon is constantly having to start over from the port explosion to the 7th of October to the current war. And I'm still in awe of the fact that I was able to sway that one person. And he always told me, he said the other day something like, yeah, these Israelis can try to do whatever they want, but this is Lebanese land. And I'm going like, you like, I need to give you a microphone, you need to be on a podium, my man, and start talking to everyone and showing them what you know. Because it was a beautiful moment for me to realize that having made those changes and having portrayed myself as the best image of a Lebanese person helped sway this individual and help change their, not only their mind, but their image of what Lebanese people are. And I realized that it does make a difference when you decide to make those changes. It does make a difference when you decide to be the best version of a Lebanese person that you can be. Another instance was actually yesterday with another colleague of mine, and we were discussing architecture and working here in Australia and how maybe one day we'll open our own office and start building. And I remember specifically, he says to me, he goes, yeah, we'll open that business, we'll open this office, and we'll start building all over Australia. And I go, yeah, that's exactly, like, what's stopping us? And he looks at me and he goes like, and you never know, maybe one day we'll get to build in Lebanon. And I choked on some tears when he said that to me, because I feel like what was happening in Lebanon had all of that oppressed kind of um, feelings all bubbled up when he said that to me, because that's my dream. My dream is to be able to help Lebanon and to help Lebanon progress and build. And he said that to me because he'd spent time with me and understood what we are as Lebanese people. He wants to go to Lebanon more than I do because of all that I've told him about us, about our beautiful nature, our beautiful culture, our beautiful people. And I realized that that's one of the best things that we as expats can do for Lebanon. The best thing we can do, or one of the best things we can do for Lebanon, is to be the best Lebanese people that we can be, is to carry the values that we cherish on our chest, to be kind, to be curious, to be insightful, to just انت يا خيي قعدوا بينكم وبين حالكم وفكروا. انا اذا بدي افكر شو احلى شيء بالانسان اللبناني، انا بالنسبه لي اول شيء بيطلع براسي هو كرم اللبنانيين من شايفه لهلا. يعني هو مبدئيا كمان كرم يعني كل بدك تقول كل الدول اللي موجوده حد لبنان، هيدا الكرم العربي، الكرم الشامي. و انا بالنسبه لي هيدي one of our best traits. And it always shocks people when you're this kind. They look at you like like they expect you to ask them for something, and I don't want anything. It's part of who we are, to be kind, to be giving, to share, to have conversations with everyone, to welcome everyone, to be welcoming, to all of these traits. We need to embody them. We need to be them. Because, as I told you, I was able to sway 2 people. I plan to do more. I plan to change a lot more people, to let them see who we are, to let them see what we are, and then automatically they'll fall in love with what we are and who we are. Because who doesn't? Who meets a Lebanese person and goes, fuck, these guys are assholes? No, bro. What do you mean? You go anywhere in Lebanon, you could be a stranger. I'm 100% sure there's someone that's gonna come offer you lunch, a bed, drive you anywhere, and money, even if they don't have it. Guaranteed. This is a Lebanese thing. And so I urge all of you, to everyone that's listening, you can help Lebanon in so many ways. But the best way you can help Lebanon, especially if you're living outside, is by showing the people here what we are and who we are. Because once you humanize, because right now they don't have a perception of a Lebanese person. They have a perception of this country called Lebanon with people in it. They can't relate to you. They can't connect with you. They can't understand what you are unless you show them, unless you tell them. And all of a sudden, it's like a domino effect. You topple one. Like, I know this colleague of mine at work, he's probably going to tell his family about this wonderful Lebanese person that he had at work. هلا أنا قاعد عم بمدح بحالي وبقول إنه wonderful, بس إنه still. And his family are gonna have a little more understanding of what Lebanese people are, because they're gonna listen to their dad. And then when they meet a Lebanese person, they might give them a second chance and be like, hey, wait, my dad said that these guys are fucking awesome. Let me sit down, let me have a drink with this guy. And if you were that guy, how awesome would it be if you were portraying the same image that I was? And all of a sudden this kid goes like, you know what, my dad was right, these people are amazing. And it turns into a domino effect where these people that don't understand who we are, or don't know who you are, know who you are, know what you are, but not only that, are fighting with you for Lebanon. That's the best thing you can do, in my view. The best thing you can do is just to be the best version of who we are. And I recommend this to everyone, because not only will it help Lebanon, it'll help you, it'll help us. Because to me, I think I've had a lot of blessings in my life, and I think my biggest and strongest blessing is that I was born Lebanese. I think that's my most beautiful trait, is the fact that I was born from that land, from that culture, from that civilization, from those roots and that history. The privilege of being from Lebanon is something that we should not take for granted, and also something that we should be proud of, and we should carry on our chest like a badge of honor. أنا هلا اللي بيسألني مع إنه أنا خلقان هون، أنا اللي بيسألني بقول له أنا لبناني. يعني it's not even a question براسي. It's an automatic response. It's the best thing I could be, is a Lebanese person, because of what we are. And so that's why I would recommend for everyone to do this. Because if I do it, and one of you guys does it, and another person does it, and another person does it, and all of a sudden we're each changing one person at a time, and we're domino affecting all of these people, and all of a sudden you have a collective of people that know who we are, that know what we are, and that will stand up to this aggression, stand up to this. These are war crimes that are being committed in Lebanon. They're innocent civilians that are dying every day. And we can't stand by and let our countrymen die like this. So we need to do our part. هذا واجبنا لأرضنا. And I think remembering who we are, remembering our history, carrying it as a badge, will change everything. And so that's what I would recommend for all of you. If you can help Lebanon in a physical sense, please do. If you can't, that's okay, because not everyone has the same situation. But the one thing that I guarantee you can always help Lebanon in is changing the image and changing people's perception of who we are. You can always be kind, you can always be loving, you can always be welcoming, you can always be knowledgeable, you can always be an overachiever, you can always be a trailblazer. All of these traits that are Lebanese, they're in you like they are in me. And so you don't have any excuse not to be the best version of yourself that you can, and not to carry those traits as a badge of honor on your chest. وبعد شغله فيكم تساعدوا فيها لبنان. وهيدي I'll credit this to my friend رامز بركات يلي قال لي the best way I can help Lebanon هو كل يوم بقوم الصبح بقول كس ام اسرائيل وبكمل نهاري. قلت له بتعرف شو؟ معك حق مليون بالمية. So wake up every day قولوا كس ام اسرائيل وبلشوا نهاركم and you'll feel 100 times better. But I think with that we're coming to the closing of this episode. And I wanted to say there might be more ways to help Lebanon that I don't know about. So please, if you listen to this and you know, let me know and I will help spread that information so that everyone knows. If you have organizations that are working in Australia and USA and Canada, wherever you are, that are providing money or financial support to Lebanon and you need someone to help broadcast, let me know. And I will do this for you as well, because that's what we do as Lebanese people. We stick by one another, we hold on tight, and we're gonna get through this storm together. وإذا الله راد حنرتاح إن شاء الله. إن شاء الله نرتاح بقى مان. إن شاء الله نرتاح ويكون لبنان بخير ومش بهيدي الحالة اللي نحن فيها دايما. بقى مع هيك يا جماعة أنا برجع بقولكن be the best version of yourself that you can be, because that's the biggest thing you can do to change how we are viewed in the world today. ومع هيك يا جماعة أنا بقولكن تحية إلكم وتحية للبنان والله يعيش لبنان. وهيك